Now it's time to talk about representing expressions. And there's a few different ways that we can do this, especially if we're thinking about some of our expressions that you see up here. We are going to use manipulatives to show blank plus 4, 2x plus 5, and 3x minus 1. And some of the manipulatives that we can use are plates and cups plus some counters, or we can be more formal and use these algebra tiles. Let's go ahead and get started. So here I have my expressions, and I'm first going to use this set of plates and a manipulative. Maybe I just choose to use these motor manipulatives to show these different expressions. The plates are going to represent the unknown or the variable, and the motor manipulatives, those are going to be used to represent the constant. I'm going to move those to the side. So, oops, something just fell off, but that's okay. And let's go ahead and focus on this expression here, blank plus 4. This blank represents an unknown or a variable. And there's only one blank, so I'm going to pull in one plate here to show that blank space. Then to that, I need to add 4. So I'm going to go ahead and add 4 counters, just like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here I used my plate and my counters to show x plus 4 or blank plus 4. Now if I'm looking at an expression like this, 2x plus 5, I have 2 variables, 2x, so I can show one plate and another plate, and then to that I'm adding 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll kind of line them up like there. All right, there's my 5. All right. So here I showed 2x plus 5. Now if I want to show this expression here, 3x minus 1, I first could bring in my 3x, 1, 2, 3, and then minus 1. I could show this and subtract, but that's not actually going to be a good representation. This is where I want to start to use my 2 color counters, where the yellow side represents positive and the red side represents negative. Now I can show this as 3x minus 1, and here's a little bit of an explanation as to why that works. I know I need to subtract 1, and this 1 is actually positive. I'm subtracting positive 1. Now I don't have a positive 1 to subtract, so what we can do is we can bring in a 0 pair, a positive 1, and a negative 1, those equal 0. It's okay to bring them into my workspace. And then if I subtract that positive 1, what remains is this negative 1. So here I showed the expression 3x minus 1. Now we can use the plates and the cups and the counters all day long, but we can also use more formal manipulatives such as algebra tiles or algebra blocks. All right, we can use our algebra tiles and our algebra blocks to show these different expressions. Let's go ahead and move my algebra tiles to the side and use our algebra blocks to the side and use the algebra tiles first. In these algebra tiles, we have rods. The positive rod here represents a positive x, and if I turn it over to the red side, that represents negative x. And then I have these units, and the positive is represented by the brown, and the red represents a negative unit or a negative constant. So I can use these to represent these different expressions. For example, I have an unknown. I'm going to assume it's positive, and to that I add 4. So here I could show 1 rod and 4 units. There I showed the expression x plus 4. What if I want to show 2x plus 5? I could go ahead and show 2x. They're both positive, so I'll put them in there like that. And then if I want to add 5, I'll go ahead and bring those in here, 2x plus 5. And then what about 3x minus 1? Well, you probably guessed it, 3x minus 1. Those are one manipulative that we can use to represent those different expressions. Now let's look at the algebra tiles. Some of you might have these in your school, and I want you to know how to use them. The algebra tiles have orange rods and yellow rods. These represent x, or y and x. And then the green cubes, those represent the constant of 1. So let's think about how we could show x plus 4. Well, here I could show 1x plus 4 constants. There we go, x plus 4. What if I want to show 2x plus 5? Well, here I could show 2 sets of x plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what if I want to do 3x minus 1? Well, I could show 1x, and then this is where I would want to show usually they have a mat that you can use to show positive and negative. So I could go ahead and draw that right now. Let me go ahead and show that mat. It usually looks a little bit like this. All right, it has a positive part and a negative part. So I have 3x actually, and all of those are positive. So I'll go ahead and put those in my mat just like this. And then I have one negative constant. I need to get one of those out of my bag, and I put it there like that. So this shows 3x minus 1. Both the algebra tiles and the algebra blocks can be used in addition to using the plates and cups and any other counter to show all of these different expressions. So now I'd like you to think about activity 7 and what are some of the ways that you can help students represent expressions. Maybe you want to use some of those hands-on tools, or you also have a link right there to some virtual tools as well.